How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian Halligan, and this is my YouTube channel about biathlon. In today's video, I'm doing something a little bit different. First, I want to give a huge shout out to all the love that the channel has received in the last couple weeks. The viewership has more than quadrupled. Like the videos that I've been putting out the last couple weeks have just been getting so much attention and have been so popular all over the world. Thank you so much to everyone who discovered the channel recently and has, given me feedback, left a comment. I know I mispronounced names wrong. I'm gonna continue to do it in the future, but every single little bit of help that I can get with that, I truly appreciate. Everyone who's liked a video, from the bottom of my heart, it's so great to know that there's a biathlon community out there and you guys are enjoying this biathlon content. Everyone's coming and they're enjoying the content, they're leaving comments and they're liking, but nobody's subscribing. So if you could just hit that subscribe button, it really helps the channel. It helps motivate me to keep going forward, and it keeps you up to date because every time I come out with a video like this, you're up to date and it comes into your feed. So hit that subscribe button and you'll be kept up to date on all the content coming out of this channel. So if you hadn't heard, the Biathlon Integrity Unit was reviewing a case about Andrejs Rastorgujevs. So back in the winter, Rastorgujevs was issued a suspension due to missing 3 drug tests during the winter. He appealed the case, and the Biathlon Integrity Unit just decided today that they are not going to overturn the suspension. And this is a pretty big deal. And first, let me give some background as to, what does this mean? What does he mean that he missed a drug test? Was he doping? No, not necessarily. Basically what happens is when you get to a certain level in your sport, you get added to this elite level or this elite athlete list. And governing bodies such as WADA, who are in charge of, keeping the integrity of elite level sports to make sure there's no doping, making sure that everyone is playing fair and true, they have a certain set of rules that you need to abide by if you are going to be an elite level athlete. One of these rules is you need to be there when there's a drug test. So now you might be asking, did he just not show up for his drug test? Was it like a court date that he just missed? Not necessarily. WADA can actually drop in unannounced, and quite frankly, in my opinion, that's probably the best way of trying to catch dopers. Catch them when they're not expecting it. If you know that there's going to be a drug test coming up in the next couple of weeks and you're, maybe not doing things right, maybe you try to clean up your act a little bit as you're going into the, the scheduled drug test. But what if you have no idea when WADA is going to show up? And if they do and they catch you, you're done. That's probably going to deter you from, even trying to dope even for like a little bit. So basically, how does WADA know where the athletes are? If you're living in Europe, you could be in any country at any moment. So what you're required to do as an athlete is you're required to fill out your whereabouts pretty much at all times. And you might think, well, that's invasive. Well, I don't want to tell this organization where I am all the time. I'll talk about that a little bit. But basically, Rastorgujevs was supposed to be telling WADA where he was during the winter, particularly when he's traveling on the World Cup, maybe traveling to different venues for training in between trimesters. I know he went back and forth between the World Cup and the IBU Cup a little bit last season. So he's on the move constantly, and he has to be telling WADA where he's going. He missed 3 tests, and that does not mean he was, found to be doping or he failed the test. It just means he missed it. A tester showed up, he wasn't there. So if they showed up to his home and he was down at Onholtz, training or racing, guess what? That's a missed test. Maybe he said he was going to be going to Oberhof for Christmas to train, and he actually went to Ruhpolding. Guess what? If they show up to Oberhof to test and he's not there, that's another missed test. Apparently, he missed 3 tests in a 12-month period, which by WADA standards means for a suspension. So Rastorgujevs appealed this decision, and unfortunately just today, the Biathlon Integrity Unit turned down his appeal, and he will be in fact suspended for 18 months. Now, it will be retroactively applied back to March. However, that's going to push him out past the Olympics, and that means he will not be competing at the Olympics this year. Honestly, I'm really torn by this because Rastorgujevs has always been a favorite of mine. I think what he's trying to do to be an elite level athlete is really admirable. You look at a nation like Latvia, they have Bendika, they have some junior athletes that are kind of competitive, but they don't have that same star power as Norway or Germany Or, even Estonia, which is right next to them, they just don't have that same follower base. So for an athlete like Rastorgujevs, he has to go out and raise a lot of this money on his own. He has to get a lot of personal and individual sponsors and really fund his own lifestyle. And that includes traveling for training, traveling for the World Cup, getting coaches and staff to wax his skis and help him on the range, ammo, skis, equipment, all of this stuff, and housing, lodging, transportation, everything associated with being an athlete and being a competitor, he is responsible for. Granted, the last couple of years, Latvia, the national federation, has stepped it up, but it started out with Rastorgujevs. He's been the one really driving this the last few years. And to hear that he's going to be suspended like this and his name is going to be, associated, I would say, with doping, again, he didn't dope. He didn't test positive, he just missed his tests. But still, these are the rules that you have to abide by as an elite level athlete. In my opinion, I'm kind of glad to see that the Biathlon Integrity Unit is sticking to this decision. And here's why. Rastorgujevs is so lucky to be living the life that he's living. Think about this. There's people working at convenience stores, in offices, minimum wage jobs that would just do anything to be able to get out and live the life that Rastorgujevs is living. When your job is literally to make your body the best it can be, the most fit it can be, and in doing so, to prove how fit you are, you get to travel around the world and experience different places and experience the thrill of competition and have adoring fans loving you and supporting you. This is such a beautiful lifestyle that he gets to live, we get to live, I get to live. I'm living that lifestyle right now. What can I say? Just how incredibly lucky we are to be living that lifestyle. There are certain rules that come with that. Some of them are self-enforced, Maybe he wanted a piece of cake for dinner, but he knows that as an athlete, it's not going to help him achieve his goals. Maybe he'll hold off on that piece of cake. But you know what? These are rules that governing bodies enforce. You need to show up for your drug tests. You need to tell us where you are if you're going on a travel or on a training trip or a race trip or something like that. These are the small prices you have to pay to live this absolutely incredible lifestyle. To relate this back to something that's happening in the U.S. right now, Sha'carri Richardson is a U.S. sprinter. She won the Olympic trials in the 100, and just before the Olympics, she was actually she actually tested positive for marijuana. Now, the outpour of support for Richardson, saying, "Who cares about pot? It's not performance enhancing. It doesn't matter." As an athlete, she signed up for this lifestyle and she agreed not to, use marijuana. However, in whatever capacity, that it's always been on the, the ban list. And she decided to use it. And she risked not going to the Olympics. And guess what? She lost that gamble. Now, the conversation about whether or not marijuana is a performance-enhancing drug, that's a separate conversation. But the fact of the matter is, Sha'carri Richardson broke the rules and she got caught. So, my opinions when it comes to someone like Richardson or Rastorgujevs is we're living this incredible lifestyle where we're traveling, we're competing, we're doing the sports that we love. There's certain rules that you need to follow, and unfortunately, if you get caught not following those rules, I'm almost applauding the governing bodies that are enforcing the rules, because I think they've handled it very well. And while it might not be a popular decision, it's the right one. But I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Should Rastorgujevs have been suspended for 18 months? Should he miss the Olympics for only missing 3 drug tests? Let me know your opinion down below. But until next time, we'll see you.